Hello folks, this is Mike, and let me ask you a question. Do you have hard water stains on your shower floor like these? And if you do, you know that they're tough to get off. So should you use natural cleaners like vinegar and baking soda concoctions, or should you use harsher chemicals and acids like these? Well, in this video, I'm going to test 11 different formulas and store-bought products, and we're going to try to answer that question. So let's get cracking. Now, true hard water stains are caused by the mineral content in your tap water. They're not caused by dirt and soap scum and etc., although that might be on the floor also when you do this cleaning. Now, in this area, we have a lot of a calcium and lime buildup. In your area, you may have iron oxide buildup, which causes a reddish-brown rust-like stain on the floor, which is even harder to get off than what I have here. And I'll talk about a solution for that later in the video. In the original video 2 years ago, I used special shower brushes designed for cordless drills. And this is a much faster and more efficient way to clean your shower. Now, there are links at the end of this video in the video description to that video. And I will include some paid links in the video description for these brushes and for the other products used in this video. In the first video, I used these products to clean the floor. And that was 2 years ago, of course. And here's a clip from that original video. So I sectioned off the shower floor and I tried a different cleaner in each section. I started with the Crud Cutter and the Clorox Cleanup, each in their own section, of course, and tried using the 4-inch flat brush. Now this didn't work. Even though I put my weight on the brush, it was just simply too slow a process, and it was only marginally successful. I switched over to the 2-inch brush and look at the difference. As you can see, the scum is being removed. The household cleaners require 2 applications and a lot of effort. Next, I sprinkled Ajax cleanser on the remaining floor, and then I sprayed that with a homemade vinegar formula. And then I let it set for 30 minutes. Now, the ingredients are on the screen. Now, it's important to note here that this is a diluted solution, and we didn't have a problem with toxic fumes. Normally, bleach and vinegar in higher concentrations can react with each other. So, obviously, don't mix chlorine bleach with a high concentration of vinegar. And indeed, later I found out that the vinegar and baking soda combination works just as well as this one. The problem with the solution was that it completely covered the floor and was very opaque, and I had trouble making sure I had covered everything with the brush. And sure enough, when we rinsed it off, we discovered several spots that I'd missed, and we had to repeat the process. So now let's rinse the floor, and look at that. We've got a clean shower. Now you'll notice that the floor may look spotty in places with those brown splotches, but that's actually part of the tile pattern, and we'll never get that out. So let's let the shower floor dry out, and then we'll look at our before picture and our after picture. And you can tell there's quite a difference, isn't there? I didn't clean the floor for maybe another 4 months or so, until I had enough stains build up for another test. And in case you're wondering, this is just killing my OCD wife. This time I notched up to acid-based cleaners. And before you get too excited about that acid word, remember that natural vinegar is also a weak acid. That's why it works so well. Here's the 4 cleaners we're going to use, each one in its own quadrant of the shower floor. In this round, I'll start with the Barkeeper's Friend. Now first I'll dampen the floor with a damp rag. We'll pour out some of the product and spread it around liberally in place. Now we'll let it soak for 5 or 10 minutes. Now I'm going to clean with a 2-inch brush, making sure to cover everything and to bear down on the bit for a little extra bite. I'd never used this product before, but I received a number of recommendations from my viewers. So after all those positive comments, I had to try it. And now it's become one of my wife's favorite cleaners for a variety of applications. It also does a pretty good job on mold and mildew in the shower. Folks, we do a lot of these how-to and DIY videos. We also do product reviews for home and shop. So if you would, please take the time to go below and like our video
subscribe to our channel, and be sure to ring that notification bell. A word of caution with these products. Now, you notice we're doing this on tile. If you have fiberglass or marble or some other material, be sure to read the precautions on the label to make sure the product is compatible with the type of situation you're using it in. And now we can rinse it off, and it was a lot of work, but it seems to have taken care of the stains, although it's kind of hard to tell on this tile with this brown pattern. Next, we're going to apply the 3 remaining cleaners. Now, these are stronger than the Barkeeper's Friend, and you should avoid skin contact with these acids. That's why I'm wearing the gloves, and you should too. Also, avoid getting these products in your eyes. These products can make fumes, so be sure to wear a respirator or work in a well-ventilated area. Again, we'll do 1/4 of the shower floor with each product, and then we're going to let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes. Unlike the other products I've used thus far, when I used the drill brushes here, this deposit seemed to ball up and create a slurry of dirt and debris on the floor. Needless to say, I was impressed. Just look at this close-up. These last 3 products just seem to deep clean better. Now we can rinse it out, and it looks like they all really did a pretty good job. Now we're ready for the 3rd and final round, and again I let these stains build up on the floor, much to my wife's chagrin, for another 4 or 5 months. I'm going to try the cleanser version of the Barkeeper's Friend, although its main ingredient is still oxalic acid, which is what they use in the liquid version. Now, a concern I had here was that it sprinkles on, but it doesn't seem to cover the entire floor really well. So it's a good thing that we wet it first. A lot of folks want to use a really natural cleaner on their floor, and various combinations of baking soda and either white vinegar or apple cider vinegar, citric acid, and other ingredients are highly touted by many of these people. Of course, the $64,000 question is, does it really work? So here I've sprinkled baking soda on the floor, and then I'm spraying it with white vinegar. And not only that, I'm going to do another quadrant with straight white vinegar. And many people say this will do the trick by itself. And finally, I'm using a combination of baking soda and hydrogen peroxide on the final quadrant. Now, this was a surprise to me. I found this online as a possible cleaner for hard water stains. So I'm going to try it out today, and we'll see how this works. And it never fails. In the middle of the video, the sprayer quit working, and I had to put it on by hand. This happened because I had trouble getting the baking soda to completely dissolve in the hydrogen peroxide, and hence it clogged the sprayer. And since these are milder products, I didn't see the need to wear my gloves. Again, we're going to let this sit for about probably 10 minutes this time, and then we'll try and clean it with the brushes. This time I'm going to use my Bosch 12-volt compact drill instead of the big DeWalt. I have 3 batteries for it, so hopefully we'll have enough battery power to finish this job. Now, these cleaners are not causing the hard water stains to crumble or slurry on the floor like the previous acidic cleaners we used. However, I'm putting a little extra elbow grease into it, and it does seem to be coming off just fine. So now we can rinse it out, and I think if you take a good look at it, you'll see that we have just about as good a cleaning here as we've done with any of the other cleaners we've used. So did you notice that every single cleaner we tested worked when we used them in conjunction with the drill brushes and power tools? Of course, the household cleaners like Crud Cutter and Clorox Cleanup require 2 applications, and I think a lot more work. So if you're going to be doing this by hand, say with a scrub brush, I would definitely shy away from this type of cleaner. The Ajax and vinegar formula that we used in round 1 worked, but it didn't work any better than straight vinegar or the vinegar baking soda formula, and there is a potential for fumes here, so I would rule it out. The real surprise for me was that the vinegar and hydrogen peroxide formulas, with a little bit more effort, seemed to work about as well as the stronger acidic formulas. My favorite cleaners, however, were the acid-based cleaners, particularly the Lime-A-Way and the CLR. And that's mainly because I'm just lazy. I want to get the stuff off the floor as fast and as easily as possible. And these products delivered here. And also like to see that slurry come up on the floor. I think that's pretty cool.
Now, one thing to remember here is that these cleaners all worked on my shower floor with my shower stains. The water in your area may be different and may contain different minerals, so your results could be different from mine. Especially if you have those reddish brown rust stains caused by iron oxide. Now, one thing you might try there would be the CLR, since it is specially formulated to deal with rust.
And sometimes nothing seems to work. We had rusty stains on our patio because we had rusty flower pots we left out there too long. And I tried vinegar and CLR and the Lime Away, nothing worked. I finally opted to use the hydrochloric acid product, the Miracle Products brand, and it took about 2 applications, but it came off with that.
I know that sometimes you have to call out the big guns to get the job done, but I wouldn't recommend any of these professional acidic cleaners like this for general use because they're very strong, they're not very user-friendly. They burn your skin, they can burn your eyes, they make fumes. So I would reserve them for special purposes like these rust oxide stains I had. Now if you're looking for just one cleaner that will do it all, I have 2 favorites. First, I like the vinegar and baking soda solution. Works great all over the shower, even cuts the mold and mildew. Also, my absolute favorite is the Barkeeper's Friend for general use. Not only for the shower, but we use it all over the house for a variety of purposes. Really good stuff. So folks, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Be sure to send me your comments and your questions, and I will answer you. And until next time, thanks for watching.